Welcome, welcome. Um, so I still have some issues with my webcam, but that's how be happening sometimes. But in the meantime, I think we can still go. If my webcam crashes, it's not a big deal because you still can see what I do and you still can hear me. Hopefully. If everything else crashes, it's probably worse. In the meantime. So using air. And we're running a different server. Okay. And I remember playing with cookies. Yeah. Basically, this was this was the big deal. I'm setting a cookie when I get in the lobby. And I'm going to check the value of the cookie so that I can know in which lobby I'm present. But as you see, no cookie is being set. Which is very bizarre. I remember having this problem yesterday, and I don't quite understand what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, so the cookie isn't being set. Oh wait. Let's put it for questions. Because I believe that the game's handler goes for questions. Again, yet I'm not setting cookies anymore. For some reason. Like, does this set cookie return something? No. So it must have a cookie name. Makes me wonder if my cookie name is correct. Is it because of there he goes. Okay. Okay, so lobby name. Odzok path questions. I have multiple paths because if I reload this, it's still every time different. And I don't know if this guy can understand it. I want to take a look. Well, first off, cookie are used for the user's same question credential. That's good. Credentials are correct at a later time. Okay, the user. Tell you what, I'm reading everything. I think if the answer was here, I'm just gonna start read documentation every because it cannot be possible. But it wasn't said anywhere that this how it works. I'm gonna also be chatting with my girlfriend up until she goes to work. Yeah, so the typical server will use the content of HTTP cookies to determine whenever different requests come from the browser user and then issue a personalized or generic response as appropriate. The following describes a basic user sign-in system. The user sends sign-in credentials to the server, for example, via form submission. If the credentials are correct, the server updates the UI to indicate that the user is signed in and responds with a cookie containing a session ID that records their sign-in status on browser. At a later time, the user moves to a different page on the same site. The browser sends the cookie containing the different session ID along with the corresponding request to indicate that it still thinks the user is signed in. The server checks the session ID and if it's valid, sends the user personalized version of the new page. If it is not valid, the session ID is deleted and the user is shown a generic version of the page, or perhaps access denied. Cookies are used for three purposes: session management, user sign-in status, shopping cart contents, game scores, or any user-related relation detail that the server needs to remember. Personalization, user preferences such as display language and UI theme, tracking, recording, and analyzing the user's behavior. Oh, I would have thought they would not put this here. Wait, if this is OS default, flashbang, dark. Yeah. In the early stage of the web, there was no other option. Cookies were used general client-side data storage purpose. Modern storage APIs are recommended for examples, the web storage API and IndexedDB. I guess my Firefox updated. The web storage API provides mechanism by which browser can store key value pairs in more intuitive fashion than using cookies. Okay, so we got draft cookies 2.0. Session storage is partitioned by browser tabs and by origin. The main documented all embedded browsing contexts are grouped by their origin, and each origin has its own separate storage area. Closing the browser tab destroys all session storage that is associated with that tab. Local storage is partitioned by origin only. All documents with the same origin have access to the same local area. They persist when the browser is closed and reopened. Okay. It's interesting. Am I don't know even where to sign this off. So basically this is extra cookies. The cookies are saved like at browser level. Okay, very well. Oh, so now I see what this is about, because I remember telling the browser over here that the path is less questions which means that this bitch will send it every time the browser goes to some link / question. The problem is, will that mean that it will send it even, let's say, to google.com? Because I would still have that cookie, wouldn't I? Okay, maybe it is by page kind of thing. I wonder if I can set it even for multiple ones. I guess I just have to rerun the cookie again. So it'll be like cookie, two cookies. This way I don't set it twice. Okay. Let's keep on reading and then moving on. I'm curious what an IndexedDB is. Low-level API for client storage of significant amount of structured data, including files, blobs. This API uses indexes to enable high-performance search for this data, while web storage is for storing smaller amounts of data. It is less useful for storing larger amount of structured data. IndexedDB provides a solution. The main landing page for MDN IndexedDB coverage. Here to provide the link to the full API reference API and usage guide. Browser spot details and some explanation of key concepts. Okay, so there's basically some DB kind of thing. That's good. Okay, so I solved half of the problem. Now I see the cookie, but makes me believe my cookie that this won't notice it, right? I'm gonna tell you, never really. Okay, so I'm still seeing the cookie, regardless of the fact that I'm not setting it from the same for the same lobby. That's interesting, I guess. But I guess this time it means that if air is not in, we can just making this. I don't care about value. General no lobby. That basically solves it. Yeah. Oh. HTTP. No cookie. Lobby. Okay. And that makes sense to me. What I can do is say cookie dot path, or rather, that's one cookie. So let's rename it to something like socket cookie. Let's make a lobby. Let's make a copy for the lobby cookie. Okay. And this one will have a dot path, which is simply going to be slash lobby. Very well. Wait, don't I have? I don't have constants for this one. At this point, I might even be a good sport and do it. Yeah, but that would be lobby path. I already have the lobby. It's going to be so annoying. Okay, so we change the path and then we http.set cookie. I'm gonna just copy this. Instead of socket cookie, this is going to be a lobby cookie. Which by all means, I have the two cookies. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yep. Okay, so now it will always be the same code unless I can trigger something like a we can put a new game. By the way, I'm getting triggered by this business of having stuff. Lazy. Yeah, the three-seater context. I wish for it. I'm using it specifically for I don't know. I kind of like it. Probably the one thing that I would want is for it to be toggled when I decided to. Let's see if as far as I have ChatGPT Premium, I want to see if he can do it even over here. So three-seater. Make so that this extension triggers only this extension starts disabled and triggers on a command in Lua. That will then go in context.lua. I believe I don't have. Come on, enable context. Oh, config enable TS context function. Move it to another file. What the fuck is going on this page? No, I want them separate. Makes me curious of what happens if I just go this. If I go the lazy route. Okay, this happened nicely. Hmm. I want it to be toggle to it toggleable. So fuck happens here, by the way. Toggle TS content. Okay, I had better results in the other PC. So I'm gonna keep it not on as of now. Don't even know. It's okay. It's nice. Just hit clutter. Okay, so the cookie now it's looking solid. Keep staying here. And we could put a start new game with a neat post request that will simply check if the start new game is being asked, then I just have to refresh this value. And that is going to be very fast. Yeah, that's actually pretty great. Okay. Therefore, let's take, I don't even know where the lobby goes. Problem is that the inner gets nuked. I believe that this won't get nuked, right? Let's say start new game. It's completely outside of everything. But when I click, this stays, right? If I go something like that, there is a 100%, 1000% chance this gets nuked. It doesn't yet. So the one that gets destroyed is this body. Yep. Well, this thing can be fixed by simply making it like putting it in some kind of corner, you know, making it position absolute or some kind of shit. But before that, let's make a quick form. That will simply trigger my guy to just refresh the lobby. Basically, we'll do the same thing as my basic request, but instead of but I think I'm just gonna have to reload it. That's about it. So I can't for the love of me find the file again. Guess that the players for now will have to stay outside. And let's get to the lobby HTML and point this form. This will be an HX post. Not quite sure if this works just the same. I think this will trigger the form possibly. Let's take a look at other forms that I have. Which I have basically this. Just an HX post, not specifically what I would envision as great. Let's take a look at Mozilla, and that would be pretty neat. Did we ever finish to read this? Generates max number of cookies per domain. Varies by browser in 100. Storage APIs can be larger input. Cookies are sent with every request so they can worsen performance. Oh, okay. The HTTP request server can send over one or more stacked cookies headers, like a separate cookie key. Cookie is set by specifying a name value pair like this. Following context instruction receive user to store a pair of cookies. Good. And request is made, the browser usually sends previous stored cookies for the current domain back to the server with the cookie HTTP header. Okay, so it does store them by funny that there's a Rails in here. So we do get them stored by domain. It's actually great because I was thinking about that if I put the cookies, will they be sent everywhere? But the browser keeps the context separate, so that's great. Actually, I turned the chat on, so I don't know if anyone came here. Just started rolling. Okay. And removal, we can specify an expiration date or time period after the cookie should be deleted. Depending on the attribute, the set cookie headers, they can be either permanent or session cookies. And cookies are deleted after the date specified or after the period specified in the max age. Okay. Expires has been available for longer than max age. However, max age is less error prone, makes pretty sense when both are set. The rationale behind is that when you set an express date and time, the relative to the client cookie is being set on. If the server is set to a different time, this could cause errors. Makes sense. Session cookies, cookies without a max age or expires attribute, are deleted when the current session ends. The browser defines when the current session ends, and the browser uses session restore when start. This could cause session cookies to last indefinitely. Note, if you set authenticates user, it should regenerate and reset cookies, even ones that already exist. Whenever a user authenticates, this approach helps prevent session fixation attack when third party can reuse open session. Jesus Christ. There are some zone techniques designed to create cookie after they're deleted. These are known as zombie cookies. These techniques violate the principle of user privacy and control, may violate data privacy regulation, and could expose a website using them to legal liability. To update a cookie via HTTP, the server can send a set cookie header with the existing cookie name and a value, for example. This is why you want to do this. For example, if a user has updated preferences and the application wants to reflect the change in the client-side data. Okay. Update via JavaScript, don't care. Cookies devices are visible to and can charge by the end user. You really don't want your cookies to be misused or set domain where they shouldn't be sent. The potential consequences are request for annoying apps not working or it means strange behavior. You can block that cookies and specify the scripts the one way. It is a core attribute HTTP only. A cookie sent with secure attributes only sends to the browser with an encrypted request over HTTPS. It's never sent with an unsecure HTTP, except on localhost. Okay. Which means man-in-the-middle attackers can't access it easily. Insecure sites can't set cookie secure attributes. However, don't assume that secure prevents all access to sensitive information. For example, someone with access to the client's hard disk can read and modify the information. Oh, okay. A cookie with the HTTP only attributes can be caused by JavaScript, for example, to use document cookie. It can only be accessed when it reaches the server. Cookies that persist in your session, for example, should have the HTTP only. It will be really insecure to make them available JavaScript. This precaution helps mitigate cross-site scripting attacks. Jesus Christ. The file and the cookie are sent. Where? The path and the attribute scope of cookie. What URLs are set so? Okay, I can even set the domain. That's great. I guess this domain can be empty when I set it. It could be empty for the localhost and not and my domain when it's online. It should be not very like now that I understood what was the problem with my cookie. It's probably going to be like this week. Domain attributes specify which server can receive a cookie. If specified cookies are available on the specified server and its subdomains. For example, if you say domain Mozilla from Mozilla.org, cookies are available on that domain and subdomains like developer Mozilla.org. If the cookie does not specify domain attribute, the cookies are available on the server that is set but not on its subdomains. Oh, okay. That's what I need to do. Set domain might be problematic. Same site lacks mode. I'm gonna take a look at the same site stuff if it's here. The first specified domain is restricted and omitting. Note that the server can only set the domain attributes to its own domain or a parent domain, not to subdomains, for example, other domains. For example, a server with server domain foo example.com could set attributes to example.com or foo example.com, but not to bar for example or elsewhere. The path indicates the URL path that must exist in the request URL in order to set the cookies here. Okay. The %xuf is considered a directory separator, and subdirectories match as well. Makes sense. Since attributes, okay. Let's server specify whenever the cookies are set to the cross-site request. Cross-site requests are requests where the site do not match the user is currently visiting. This includes requests sent when links are clicked on the other side to navigate to your site. Any request sent by embedded third parties. Helps to prevent leakage of information, preserving user privacy and providing some protection against cross-site forgery attacks. It takes 3 possible values: strict, lax, or none. Strict, because the browser will only send cookies in response to requests origin from the cookies origin site. It should be used when you have cookies related to functionality that you will always be behind initial navigation, such as authentication or storing shop card information. Lax, what did I put here? Lax, okay. Except is similar, except the browser also sends the cookie when the user navigates the cookie origin site, even if the user is coming from a different site. This is useful for cookies affecting the display of a site. For example, you might have partner product information along with an affiliate link on your website. When that link is followed to the partner website, they might not want to get a cookie stating that the affiliate link was followed, which displays a reward banner and provides a discount in the purchase. Oh, that's how it works. Cool. None. Okay. Cookie prefixes. Because of the design of the cookie mechanism, a server can't confirm the cookie was set from a secure origin or when where a cookie was originally set. A vulnerable application or a subdomain can set a cookie with the domain attribute, which gives them access to the cookie on all other subdomains. This mechanism can be abused in session fixation attacks. See session fixation for prime mitigation method. I should read all of that, but let's keep it finite. The privacy, the security stuff was actually pretty cool. The more I think about security, I wouldn't want to work as a security engineer, but I keep on wanting to learn how can I build something that is secure for everybody else. So I want to implement some better practices as for general. Earlier on, we talk about how the same site attribute can be controlled when third-party cookies are sent, and this helps preserve user privacy. Privacy is very important when building websites, which, when done right, can build trust in users. If done badly, it can erode the trust and cause all kinds of problems. Oh, they have legitimately user include sharing user profile information, counting ad impressions, collecting analytics across the related domains. However, third-party cookies can also create creepy, invasive user experience. Okay, so that's the regulation. I'm in EU, so this would have global reach. They apply to any site on the World Wide Web. This regulation notifying your sites use cookies, allowing users to opt out of receiving some or all cookies, allowing users to use the bulk of your service without receiving cookies. The burden is you to know and comply with this regulation. There are companies that offer cookie banners, code that help you comply. Well, I think I don't know. I think I'm safe with this. Do I have to declare that I use cookies on side projects? Because I don't have any accounts. Bro, why is everything? Because I got the feel that this was happening even before. It's like, are all the websites so keen? Like, is Firefox being rendered incorrectly? Yeah, looks like it. Let's try again. Okay, so Firefox. Yeah, just like you don't have to ask your neighbor because it's specific personal data after they gave you your phone. You don't think you have to comply. And doing it as a private person with no revenue. Yeah, that's what I'm at because I think nobody will care if me, like a dude, there's no account involved over here, so there's nothing really sketchy that could be happening. So I'm not gonna. It's going to be like a extra bother for me that I don't want to take a look. Okay. So secure, HTTP only, max age is fine, buff. Yeah, max age for about an hour is good. We will be playing it to something similar fashion of 1 hour. So cookie set, that's great. The start new game, that will simply, I would simply want, this will trigger a new load, which is great. I can even boost it, so that would make it even better. If r dot request. That's the request. Yeah. I could have sworn this guy has some way method. There was some way to check. So if method is equal to get or other post. Is there a constant http dot post? Okay. Constants are just so great. Okay, so if a post, we're just gonna print it out, posted. And that guy over here will just simply have to be don't remember how forms work. Take a look. And then we'll schedule to okay, so action the post. Oh no, wait. I guess the action is the where. I'm gonna say questions, or rather lovely. Method post. And let's put an input. Okay. Let me schedule to the bathroom. BRB. Okay, then that upgrade is not what I want. Oh, we were saying the upgrade token didn't work. Like, in what way? Bad request. Is there any other form that's getting triggered? Is there something I'm missing about? Like a gigantic form around it? It's a separate form. Oh, because it's HX post. Wait. Move that. Okay. I think it's fine for this to be a refresh. We were saying posted, very well. And posted, I think I don't have to check anything else, because if I post here, then means I have to decide, I have to refresh the cookie, basically. It will be like, yeah, this happens both if it's an error and rather, or this one. I mean, oh, okay, I see. I might have to specify what happens in this post, which would be something. Is there any better way to specify in Go how stuff? Because let's say we call it new game equals false. You know, that will always generate trigger as we say. Yeah. And when we get a new method, a post, we can then check for this method. And we're gonna write it over here. All the shit. So type text. Name. That's great. Name new game. And value new game. Okay, and there was one way in which I can check this thing. Form value key string returns the best value of named components query. So and then the new games would be start game. Then new game is going to equal to new game. So r.form value would be like if this is new game, then restart game equals true. Okay. Interesting. Actually, quite the opposite. I'm sorry, but what is triggered my this post request? Something is posting for me without, like, when I load in here. So this is not happening over here. Now, why am I posting? Reload. Why am I posting? So now suddenly I always post. It's because my last action was a post. I didn't think it worked like that. Yeah. How to reset? How to change last HTTP method in browser? I'm curious. Can you? Can I like do that? Like the only way in which this doesn't work, the only way in which I can break this, I think is through HTMX. Like if I get an HX post, let's say that I put it like that. So this triggers it in some way. But let's just remove. Okay, so there's the get. Okay, we still stand in think I can just say hx target nothing. Like if there's a invalid target. So this stands to a get. The fuck? Okay, that didn't work. HTMX not target. HTMX swap nothing. Okay, this is where I want to be. This way, we still have the get. Okay. Looks, I mean, should be looking good, but it's not doing dick. Suddenly. Do I need a font for HX post? But this happened when I stopped using the target. So this happened. Good. Now let's try again. It's not going there. None. Okay. Interesting. Am I typing target or yes, target? Can put the debug. What was it? Extension equals debug. See what's going on here. Okay, it's a target error. Very well. Yeah, I would want it to not swamp. Okay, maybe it's the HX swap what I'm looking at. Inner outer none. Oh yeah. Okay, we're posting. That's good. One thing that I'm curious about. The fuck kind of formatting is that? Okay, the kind that I'm super fucking stupid. Oh, makes me wonder. So how does this work? Does HTMX post how does HTMX post know what input to send? Now I don't know if this looks okay by default enclosing form, which is great. HX include otherwise it sends an empty post. Which honestly works with me. I don't think I have to check for it. I believe that the problem was because I was sending a post, then it was always, see, that was the major issue. Which then means I don't have to check for anything, but really check if it's a post. Then I can refresh, or rather, let's say restart game. It's always better if you can. Okay, it's always better if you can specify what this means. Okay, so restart game if we get a post, and that would refresh my cookie. So this is fine. Then we refresh the cookie, and the cookie is shit. What? Oh yes, because it doesn't trigger a re-render. Well, that's not nice. Guess if I can restart the name, I can probably fix this span. Hell, I don't even have to fix the span. I can just fix the lobby. This is okay. I'm just gonna add the if restart game. I don't even have, doesn't even need to, this is pretty simple HTML. Although the one thing that I dislike is having to double support it. So we can probably just be smart about it and pass it out and be happy about how we say it. That was what, there is an example of this. Pretty sure there is. Put the flashcard player menu. Player controls. Define end. Yep. So it's define, and then you have to use a template red dot. Okay. So it will be define lobby. And it will actually span lobby. What the fuck? Honestly, pretty surprised that that still worked nicely. Okay, we were saying, and that needs to be, it just use the strong type, so define lobby. And this template lobby dot. Very well. Because now, instead of doing some stupid shit, and all of this not being really relevant, we can just do this. The only thing that we need to write is the path. It would be the lobby. And the lobby is going to be the one that we generate over here. This is annoying, but I'm moving it over here. Don't want to generate it every single time. That's probably not a big deal. Lobby equals. Okay. If restart game lobby is lobby. Okay. Right now I'm trying to get up. Oh no, I'm overriding it. Lobby code. Please don't. Figures. Lobby code. Yep. And over here, don't remember what I called it, but lobby is probably not correct. Again, lobby code, just say lobby code. Return. Not that this would do anything with HTMX, but that's okay. Okay. How about now? Okay, the target is none, but right now it will become lobby. Was a way to say inner outer text. it's outer HTML / lobby. Probably works. Hopefully. Did you just... Fuck. Hmm. No, wait, this is the outer, which means this will get swapped with something that cannot be read. The fuck? What the fuck is going on here? HX target lobby. Why did they pass him lobby code? I think that that's the way that player controls. Remember that this is the way in which I actually, yeah, take a look at check the answer. The red. I swear I post this somewhere. Should be in check answer, right? Execute template. Answer color, yeah. Precisely that. Hmm. And why am I writing lobby HTML? Did I pass straight up lobby to it? The lobby code? Okay, lobby. Straight out of the gate. Works precisely how it's intended. Okay, the last part that's interesting is... the last interesting part is... Okay, interesting is a bit much. I want to move it in a decent position. Okay, you can shut the fuck up, and we can take a look at Tailwind docs. It will be something like relative. So absolute bottom left. Okay, I can stick a relative tag to this, and then can go to town with this. So that would be like absolute top 0 right 0. This way just simply moves in. The fuck is this shit? Mm-hmm. Interesting. What about if I remove the relatives? How will this feel? The same. The relative is here to stay because that's what we want. But border text, hover pi picks around the duration is in out. I don't see anything that would make this not work. Hmm. Perhaps with static it works better. I think that relative is what I want. Okay, Tailwind, you're being a disappointment right now. Position absolute. Top 0, right 0. This looks like precisely what I want, but it doesn't. I can style fixed. Oh, wait. I'm stupid. Absolute. I'm an absolute dumbass. Why? What? Okay, this is the screen side. Yeah, but this won't. It's whatever. I could just kind of put there like a 50, say, or 48, whatever. Something that looks right. 48 is quite good. So good 48 from the below above it. How does this handle it? 4/5. Interesting positioning. It's a interesting way in which I can fit them together. Like, ah, I'm not putting it in there. That's for sure. I'm just gonna say that this is like a. This is 48, which works great in this measure. So it has to work on one screen for now. We were gonna move forward with anything else later on. Let's say that we say 24. It's like half as high. Honesty. Won't even call it bad. Like I might add, so this would be like a 28 or 26 and 50. That would sound about right, so it's not perfect corner. This is the new game. The game gets always stuck. Perfect. Now that the game persists, I need to add the persistence to the users. Then we can just simply deploy it. I think that at that point, we're gonna be in a good position and start and roll out everything. So make sure that the demo works. At this point, I'm gonna add a static password for Sarah. That way you can't tell which lobby we are. And I can set the password of the lobby inside the QR code. The fuck does this QR code even work? It's bizarre. It's incredibly bizarre. Let's take my phone and see if it picks it up. Yeah, it picks it up. Crazy. Just be in team. Dog-shaped QR code. Okay, pet. Oh, QR code. This is funny as shit. Bruh. Like, do these even contain the code? I mean, it would be the same, right? Yeah, did not think that would work. Honestly, even this would be fun enough. Well, this is hilarious. Speaking of cookies. Okay, so this worked. At some point, I want to deep in how that would work. The QR code stuff. So static and say, I would like to say persistent session for lobby. Now this would be, could put it in like two parts. There's a way to make it join members checklist. Okay. So master player. Okay, the master is done. That would find that's 50% is done. Then we sign the player, which by the way, does this place it full? No, okay. So go for the master. So we hit the master, then we're gonna hit the player. And afterwards, we can work on the deploy. Empty name makes fine. Yeah, no, okay, I remember now. I have to finish all of this and then work it out. We kind of have to accelerate on this whole business. Very well. Today nothing crashed, incredibly. So, thanks for watching. See you Wednesday, perhaps. I don't know. Sometime.